in the amount of taxes many of us are seeing coming out of our paychecks. How much more it could be eye-popping. Financial expert Gene Marks is here to explain some of what's going on and what tax advantages we may have as we gather up our receipts for the tax season. Hey, Gene, thanks for coming in.
Hey, Joyce, glad to be here.
Okay, so first of all, what more are some individual taxpayers and small businesses paying out in 2014?
Well, just, unfortunately, Joyce, about 50 tax deductions and credits expired at the end of 2013. So certain things for individuals, if you're used to taking deductions for certain sales taxes, mortgage deductions as well, tuition expenses if you're a school teacher and you got a deduction for deducting some of your school supplies expenses, those all expired at the end of 2013. If you're a small business, certain deductions that you had for depreciation also expired too. So all that's going to result in more taxes, unfortunately, in 2014, but we can do some stuff about that.
And you have some tips for us. First, organize?
Yeah, absolutely right. So when we talk about organization, millions of taxpayers spend too much money because they forget to make their estimated payments, and they pay penalties and interest because they forgot to do that. So just everybody remember, April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, that's when your estimated payments are due. So you can avoid a lot of penalties and interest if you don't do, if you make sure you pay them on time. Also, charitable contributions. You may very well be itemizing your deductions this year, particularly if you have more than $6,200 in expenses. So if you're thinking, if you're in that bracket and you want to start itemizing, charitable deductions are a big thing to consider this year. Remember, it doesn't have to be cash, Joyce. It can be property. It can be a donation of clothes, cars, things like that can give you credit for a charitable deduction.
Well, Gene, what about child care? That's a huge expense for families.
It really is. And so the child care credit is still available, and it's there for up to 35% of qualified child care expenses that you spend, up to $3,000. So if you're getting help, looking after your kid, have expenses for daycare, that kind of stuff, you may very well be eligible to get a child care credit. And remember, Joyce, it's a credit, which means that even if you don't take it against your taxes this year, you might be able to take it next year or carry it back to a prior year. So it's a big, big benefit.
Oh, that's a big help. And what about medical deductions?
I am of the opinion that because of the rising costs in Medicare and some of the changes in the Affordable Care Act, a lot of us are going to be spending a little bit more on health care this year, Joyce. So I'm advising all of my clients, gather your expenses for your entire family, for pharmaceuticals, out-of-pockets, when you visit the doctors. You might very well find that you're itemizing your deductions this year, and healthcare expenses, medical expenses might be a big part of that. So start gathering those expenses now and make sure you keep careful track of that.
All good tips. Gene Marks of the Marks Group, thanks so much for coming in. Good
Thanks,
to see
Joyce.
you always.
Great. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Bye now.
Well, she lights up the stage performing as the legendary Diana Ross on Broadway, but she's now taking on a new role. Find out what sidelined this award-nominated stage actress. And do your children know what to do if they're approached by a stranger? Well, ahead, what you might want to tell them to keep them safe. It's a story that every parent needs to sit down and watch with their children.
Did you see Good Day last week?
New Jersey Governor Chris Christie didn't duck the bridge scandal.
And everywhere else, you can barely see in front of you.
Look out, we're coming at you, brother.
You're going to talk about the Penguins today.
Good morning to you.
Welcome back to Philadelphia.
Good morning, guys.
See what happens next. Your Good Day starts Monday at 4:25 a.m. Fox 29 News your way. Be part of the two-screen experience happening during Fox 29.